Hey traders, and welcome to this week's Forex Focus. I hope you're all well and you've all had a good week in the markets. I'm going to start off by apologizing for my voice. I've lost my voice this week. It's literally just getting a little bit better. So it's touch and go throughout the weekend as to whether I'd be able to actually put this video together. So I will just ask you to bear with me. There might be a little bit of coughing or clearing my throat here and there, but hopefully I can get through it. We'll keep it short and sweet and just sort of look at the immediate opportunities that is setting up in the Forex markets for the week ahead. Now, before we get into it, please remember that everything that I'm doing here, I'm talking to you about what I'm doing with my own portfolio. So what I'm looking to do on my own account, I'm not telling anybody here to go ahead and go and take the trades that I'm taking. Obviously, you can draw a little bit of inspiration from this. You know, you can look at the ideas that I'm looking at, but you still have to do your own due diligence and decide whether or not the trades that I'm looking at are right for you and right for your risk profile and things like that. Okay, so it's to be used for educational purposes only. It is not trade advice. And the other thing is that if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. So hit that subscribe button and then hit a bell so that you get a notification as and when I release a new video, because obviously with these analysis videos, they are time sensitive. So it does make sense if you are subscribed to the channel to make sure that you get the videos in a timely manner so that the opportunities that we're looking at in the videos are still relevant to you. And the final thing before we actually get into the charts and jump over and look at the opportunities is I want to give a little bit of a mention to Sanvi. So Sanvi is a girl from my daughter's school. She started watching some of the videos here. So who knew this stuff is entertaining and educational for young people as well. But she posted a comment beneath the video last week and asked for a little bit of a mention. So there you go. There is your mention. I hope you enjoy it. And now let's jump over to the charts and take a look at the opportunities that are setting up for the week ahead. So we're going to start off by looking at eventually when I get there, the Aussie franc. So the Aussie franc here, oops, what have I done with the zoom there? Okay, so the Aussie franc here is, we can see, let's jump into the daily chart for a moment. We can see that the Aussie franc was trending downwards. Okay, so we can see the market moving down here, and then we had a little bit of a pullback. Okay, and what's happened is that pullback was sort of capped by this trend line here, and this trend line has since been broken. So we're at a sort of level where the market, this could just be a pullback in the beginning of this uptrend here, because we've had the 1, 2, 3 reversal. Okay, and this hasn't quite broken this previous low over here. So we still could break to the upside, but equally and probably the market actually, now that it's broken this trend line, it will continue the previous momentum move to the downside that took us from February of this year all the way through to August. Perhaps this is just a bit of a pullback, and now the market is ready to start the downtrend again. So we've had the break of this trend line here. The market is now trading around the 0.6751 area. And essentially there isn't a specific setup there I can see at this particular moment in time. But I do think that if the market does start to trend lower, then we can jump down to a shorter term time frame. Like perhaps, you know, let's say we jump down to the Aussie franc. We're on the Aussie franc, jump across to the 4-hour chart. You see, you can tell that I'm a little bit sick today. My mind is not quite working. But anyway, we can drop down to the 4-hour chart like we see here and essentially wait for the next momentum move to the downside. So if you guys have the market edge, then you'd wait for, you know, the trend, the momentum, the trigger to all turn red, and then to get our momentum candle to the downside, and that would be our entry there. If you don't have the market edge, then you can use your favorite strategy. So whatever tells you that a short trade is on the horizon, that's what you'd be looking for, because essentially, while the markets are beneath this level here, so particularly beneath the 0.6826, we want to be looking for shorting opportunities. If we then jump across to the Aussie dollar, and so the Aussie dollar, as you can see here on the 4-hour charts, is playing with this trend line here. Let's get a bit of a longer term view before we decide exactly what we want to do with it here. So the longer term, back into the 4-hour, will anything work for me today? Let's see. Let's go, daily chart, there we are. So the daily chart, again, we can see that the move for a lot of this year, so from February, obviously we had a bit of sideways price action, but then from May, the market started to then trend lower to August, where it started to give us a little bit of a bounce to the upside, starting to make, you know, higher highs and higher lows. Now, this is the opportunity here where if the market is going to rally, this would be an opportune moment for buyers to come back into the market, because what we have is we've got a confluence of levels. Okay, so we've got the market making, higher lows, as we can see here. We've got higher highs, slight higher highs. But now we've got this trend line in here where when the market pulls back to it, it's also in conjunction with this previous level of support over here. All right, so the 0.7288 level has acted as support previously. So if the buyers want to come into the markets here, this would be a great place for them to do it. So we're looking for a reaction to this trend line. If the market starts to break up from this trend line, then it's a buyer's market. We need to be looking for buying opportunities. If the trend line doesn't hold and the market breaks through here, well, then we need to keep an eye on the low of the 0.7170. But if the trend line is broken, then really we want to start looking for some selling opportunities. If we then move across to the CAD-JPY, so the CAD-JPY here is a pretty simple one. We've got the market moving up, as we can see here. If we go into the daily charts, and just very, very briefly, in fact, we can do it all from the daily chart for this one here. The market is trending to the upside. As you can see, it broke through there. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, there's my first cough of the video there. The market did break through there. It's then since broken back or pulled back to that level. So we're looking at around the 90.68 level. Now remember, these levels, they don't have to be exact. Okay, so it doesn't need to be, pip perfect to the level. There's no centralized exchange. You're not going to get that. So we're just kind of looking for price zones, areas of interest where potentially the market can turn around. And that's where we're at right now. So essentially, the market has pulled back to that level. What we would be looking at here from a market edge perspective is for everything to turn red. Again, turn green, and then give us a bullish momentum candle. That will be our signal to get in there and start buying this market. If you don't have that, then looking at something simple like a trend line break, as we have in here. If I jump down to a shorter term time frame, it might be easier to see it. So if we get some sort of like a trend line break from here, then that will be your opportunity to get long. If we then look at the Euro Aussie, now I don't see a specific opportunity. If you're not using the market edge is already given a selling opportunity here. So if you didn't get that, you've missed that. You need to wait till the next one. But I don't see a specific opportunity here just yet from a technical perspective. However, I do believe that if the market starts to sell off from here and trade beneath the trigger line here, and if we go over to the longer term charts, so you see the daily charts here, if the market starts to sell off from here, then we should be looking for some opportunities to sell the market, and let's kind of look at some euro weakness going into the coming weeks ahead. Just judging just based on this chart here. So we can see that we've got a nice momentum move to the downside. It's then pulled back somewhat. The market then gave us a little bit of some sideways price action here, just 4 candles, not a lot. But what is important is Friday's candle was a very, very bearish candle, as you can see there. It closed all the way at the bottom there. So if we continue to get a sell-off in the markets and the Euro Aussie going into next week, that could be a good opportunity to look for a short in this pair. But it's not one that I have immediately on my radar. It's just one there where I thought that it was interesting. And if we do get the sell-off, then it's something to sort of, to anticipate, to look into. Okay. If we then look at the Euro New Zealand, so we take a look here. The Euro New Zealand has broken through a previous level of support, which was support on the 24th of February. If we jump out to the longer term chart very quickly, so if we look at the daily charts here, we can see that the market has been trending down. So let's get rid of that for a moment. The market has been moving lower, essentially from the highs to do with COVID on the 20th and 19th of March there. The market has just been moving lower and lower and lower. We had some opportunities in this a couple of weeks ago. The market is then pulled back. So it broke through this structural level here. It's then started to break back. If we now get a breakdown in this pair, so if I zoom in a little bit, so if you get something like a trend line break here, or again, if you're using the market edge, then let's jump in over here, and you don't have to use it. You can use, good old age-old technical analysis. But if you are, then essentially what we'll be looking for here is for the market to break through this trend line and give us, and for all of the indicators to be lining up at the same time. So everything red, break through the trend line there, which is very important. I don't really want to take an opportunity until it does get through there, because it could bounce like this. One of the Aussie pairs that we talked about just now, we were looking at a trend line bounce, which is a very, very common occurrence, which is why we want to see this broken before we get involved in this trade. But, you know, it is reacting to a previous level of support. It's now acting as a resistance. I love these setups. So if we can get the seller from here, I think it'll be a really good and really powerful trade. The final one is the New Zealand yen here. So the Kiwi yen, as we can see if we kind of zoom out, we've got almost the opposite to the Euro New Zealand, and there a structural level has been broken. Only this one is to the upside, because here the New Zealand dollar is the base currency. With the Euro New Zealand, it was the quote currency. But anyway, let's go and take a look at the daily chart. So the daily chart here, as we can see, the market is broken out through structure. The market has been trending up for a very, very long time. Look at this here. You know, again, for the past year and a bit, the market's been moving up, 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 up. And if the bulls are still in control of the market, if they're still interested in taking this market to the upside, this is where they're going to want to do it, okay? Because we've got a previous level of resistance over here, and that previous level of resistance can then become support. It's acting as support right now. If the market starts to bounce up from here, that will be proof the market is paying attention to that level. So then we can jump down to a lower time frame. So the 4-hour time frame, for example, you'll see there that I do have the range charts as well, but I know that all of you won't have access to that, which is why I don't really do much analysis on there, because I want this to be something that's available to everybody. But range charts, very, very powerful. They kind of remove a lot of news. They don't remove the news. They remove noise from the market and just kind of leave you with the pure price action. So it's really very powerful tool there if you want to take a look at it. But anyway, as we can see here on the 4-hour chart, if we wait for this trend line to be broken, okay, if you're using the market edge, then you'd wait for everything to turn green here, wait for the trend line to be broken. If you're not using that, just simple trend line break should be good enough. Stop below the lows and then look for the market to push up towards the highs and perhaps even beyond that. Okay, so again, sorry, my voice is absolutely killing me. It was worse on Monday and Tuesday of this week, but as you can see, it's still not great. It's better, but it's not great. But in any case, I hope you enjoyed this week's Forex Focus. I hope you got value out of it. As I said before, it's educational purposes only. So I'm telling you what I'm doing with my own accounts, the kind of trades that I'm looking at. I'm not telling you to go and take those trades yourself. You have to decide for yourself whether it's right for you. Do your own due diligence, do your own analysis, see if, you know, the trades that you currently have open, if it means you're going to have too many correlated trades and things like that. There are things that you have to pay attention to. If you like this information, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You hit the bell so that you get a notification. And why not give the video a thumbs up as well? Because, you know, that will help me get better. That will help my throat get better, maybe. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. And I will look forward to speaking to you in the very next video. Take care now and happy trading for the week.